Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Brittany, if you don't already know me, and I love sharing my life with you on this channel where I present on all sorts of topics around health and simple living, and just basically love encouraging you all to find your own unique expression of awesomeness and to live your passions. Today I want to share with you about how I healed an infection in my mouth last month naturally without any antibiotics. But first, before that, I want to tell you about two quick things. One is the Vegan World Summit. It's coming up starting October 1st. I'm going to be presenting at it. It's an online event, and there's going to be awesome YouTubers there, myself included, but like awesome group of people besides me as well. And if you sign up between now and September 20th using this discount code, you can get 25% off. Second thing I want to tell you about is my program Simplify, which I've created basically as a guide to help you figure out what's important to you in life, what your ideal life even looks like, how to clear out things that aren't serving you anymore, that are getting in the way of putting your energy towards how you want to be living, and then ultimately to move towards your dream life. So you can check that out here. It's called Simplify, and you can use this discount code as well. So on to today's video topic. What's up with my mouth? What happened to it? How did I take care of it? All that good stuff. About a month ago, I was up in the Northeast and I started to get these odd symptoms, specifically on the right side of my mouth, face, jaw, neck area. It started originally feeling like maybe I had fractured my jaw, but it came out of nowhere, so that didn't make any sense. And my right lymph node was swollen. I had this pain in my neck and some tenderness just like along this area. And then quickly after that I started to get a fever, and these symptoms lasted for about 2 days, and during this time I accumulated more symptoms, one of which was my gums were starting to feel really tender and they were getting really red. And in general, just this back area along the top of my jaw specifically was feeling pretty tender and irritated. And it turns out I had an abscess on my gum and a cavity. So I let all of my wisdom teeth come in naturally. They are coming in naturally, but last year my top right wisdom tooth came in, and it came in kind of funky, like a little sideways. And I'd been feeling it out throughout the year, like literally feeling it with my tongue to try to figure out like, what's the deal? Like, what's the position of this tooth? It feels a little funky. It felt kind of sharp to me, and what I think it was that it was like turned, and I was like feeling an edge of the tooth. And when I got my teeth cleaned in this past January in Thailand, I asked them, I said, like something feels kind of wonky here, and do you think, is it all okay, and should I get it checked out? And they thought it was all okay. So over time I just sort of like let it go, but I would notice that food would get caught up there for me quite regularly, and it was like nearly impossible to get it down. I kept trying to stick my tongue back there, and I have a pretty long tongue, and I just couldn't make it happen. I couldn't make it happen with a flosser either. So as it turns out, what happened was I had this abscess on my gums, and I had a cavity on my back top wisdom tooth, and basically it formed over time because food kept getting caught up there and I couldn't get it out. And yeah, like I did initially realize that, I think, and I think over time I kind of gave up on it and was like, well, I'm doing the best job I can, and put it in my back pocket. Overall, recently I have been feeling like, I want to take my oral health to the next level, my oral hygiene. And so in a way I feel like I asked for all of this. So it's cool that it came up in this interesting yet maybe uncomfortable way, but ultimately propelled me to greater oral hygiene. And this is what I did to heal that infection. I had been previously oil pulling, which basically was just like I'd take maybe about like a tablespoon of coconut oil in the morning and swish it around my mouth for about 15 to 20 minutes. The idea behind that is like it pulls out the bacteria from your mouth. So I'd already been doing that on and off, and I just started doing that regularly. I also started rinsing with salt water, like really salty water, like water that's so salty that it almost doesn't all dissolve in the water. And then upon recommendation from Dr. Toomey Johnson, who's a holistic medical doctor and a friend of mine, I started doing this sage rinse as well. So it's just like this concoction brewed kind of like a tea with fresh sage leaves and some chamomile. And I started swishing with that just a couple times a day. But looking back, what I think really helped was the salt water, most of all, and probably the oil pulling too. And symptoms that had been lasting like 5-6 days, and I was really concerned that they were getting worse and weren't going to get better, started turning around so fast within the first 48 hours when I started doing all that stuff. And like I said, I think it was specifically the salt water rinsing. And just continuing to do those things for a couple days. And I actually, this is important, I got this syringe, and it's like, I wish I had it on me right now, but basically syringe with like a point at the end that just curved a little bit, and I would fill that up with salt water and I would syringe it back in that area in my tooth that I couldn't get to and otherwise with the salt water, because it's actually like up and behind the tooth. So after just a few days of doing this, I felt significantly better. My fever was totally gone. My gums were hurting a lot less, and I would say within like 3 to 5 days, everything was completely cleared up. Like no more infection, no more symptoms. I could like chew and use my full mouth completely. It was amazing and liberating. I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with taking antibiotics or not taking antibiotics or doing things any which way. I think what's awesome to know is that there are tons of options out there, and you can do it any way you want. And if you're feeling like you're being told that the only way you can do it is by using antibiotics, just want to let you know that, you know, there are other options, and that you can feel empowered to feel out whatever feels best for you and to go from there. Hope you've enjoyed this video, even if you're not necessarily suffering from some sort of oral health ailment right now. I hope you're not, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.